All right, folks, welcome back and buckle in because tonight we've got a live closing call for $17,000. And that's right, I did say 17, which means our closer tonight, Miss Courtney Cox, makes a total of $1,750 in under an hour. I am your host, Ethan E., and I'm going to be breaking down the hot plays of this call, what to pay attention to, and what to avoid so that you can be a better closer. Let's dive right into this.
Hi, Robert.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. Glad to hear that. My name's Courtney. I'm going to be your enrollment coach tonight. Just so you're aware, our call is recorded for monitoring and training purposes, okay?
Okay, that's cool.
As you can see here, we just got the prospect's consent for recording this call for training purposes. So normally I will blur faces for these calls, but for this one, we're going to keep it unblurred. Let's keep going.
Awesome. So what I would love to do on our call this evening is just kind of discuss, what's motivating you to sign up with V-Shred right now? Are we looking to gain some muscle, burn some belly fat? How can we do?
Probably both.
Okay, tell me a little bit about that. What's your specific goal that you have in mind?
So our prospect, let's just call him Mr. Bob. Mr. Bob goes a little bit into his lifestyle and his goals. Basically, he weighs 225 pounds, looking to drop down to 175 pounds, calling it his dream weight. And right now, all he's doing is riding the bike for about 45 minutes daily.
Okay, and what do you feel like you're kind of struggling with the most right now since you've been kind of doing our program for the last 60 days? You mentioned you're seeing some strength improving, but are we getting that aesthetic look that you're looking for? Are you seeing the number go down anymore?
No, because I don't feel like I'm eating right.
Okay.
So obviously I know 80% is diet. Like when I was in college, my grandfather would make me like all the meals. Like they give you like a meal plan for college.
Okay.
And he was like a drill sergeant. You got to eat this, you got to eat this, you got to eat that. It's like, and that's why I had abs, right? Because I know that's 80% of the deal.
Got it. Okay. So we're struggling with nutrition right now. And is it just fully not knowing what to do to get you past this plateau that you're at right now?
No, because y'all sent me the plan and I opened it and I've never opened it since.
Okay. Okay.
Quick note here about closer Courtney Cox. You see, she's talking to our prospect, Mr. Bob here, after he's already purchased a low-ticket product, around $50. And that low-ticket product was positioned as something that they can do on their own fairly easy. But guess what? Mr. Prospect isn't getting the results that he wants. As you can see here, he's got all the information. The problem isn't the information. The problem is the execution. Meaning that it doesn't matter how good of a plan with how knowledgeable it is, if this guy can't execute, he's not going to get the results. Meaning that our closer needs to reinforce this idea that execution is key, and he needs to start taking a step up in his life, executing more on his goals so that he can see success.
Okay. Okay. What do
you gave the look like you're a mom or something. You gave that mom look.
A little bit. Yes, I am a mom.
Okay. I was like, that looks like a mom look.
So, all right. So we purchased this. We haven't used it. Why is that?
I don't know. I travel a lot too. So I was in Cabo for 2 weeks. I'm here a week. I'm going back to Cabo. Then I go to Los Angeles. Then I come back here. Then I go to Colombia. I'm gone a week. I'm usually gone a week, here a week, gone a week, here. I'm always gone.
Okay. Well, when you're gone, you're still eating, right?
Excuse me?
When you're gone, you're still eating, right?
Well, yeah, I eat every day, right?
Okay.
There's that look again.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn your face off, and I'll just like.
The reason why I'm asking this, Robert, is I really want to figure out what the root cause is that we're not able to stick with this, right?
Okay.
And I think a lot of times when I have discussions with busy professionals like you who are kind of all over the place, or if it's business or travel, it's really hard to kind of wrap their heads around, how do I stay consistent with what the world deems as a healthy diet, in order to lose weight?
Sure.
And so do you feel like the reason why maybe you haven't utilized that meal plan that you pay just like $67 or something, for two things? One, does it feel overwhelming because it's like you go, okay, well, how do I travel with this? Or is it two, as humans, our brains don't have as much emotional tie to something that might only be $67 versus
Probably the $67. Like a buddy of mine, he does that CrossFit.
Okay.
And he's like, and all of us were athletes. So he's like, dude, you're an athlete. You know what you got to do to get in shape. And I do. I honestly, I really do. Like I ride the bike and people are like, dude, how do you not get tired? I don't get tired when I ride the bike. I don't. And I ride it for 45 minutes every day. Like I'm very consistent.
Whoa, did you catch that? Classic veteran move. Man's an athlete. He thinks he doesn't need coaching. He knows what to do clearly, which means that our closer, Courtney Cox, she needs to reinforce the importance of coaching and how the best athletes have coaches along their side. This could kill the deal, as if she drops the price and he says, hey, I'll just do this on my own, because he's got that veteran attitude. Let's see how Courtney handles this one.
You've mentioned a couple of times, like, you were an athlete, you know what to do, but what's the common denominator that all athletes have?
I don't know. What is it?
They have a coach. They have somebody that's
Yeah.
saying, hey, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is how much of you should be doing. This is the X, Y, and Z, because athletes wouldn't be athletes if they didn't have those coaches. So we can know everything underneath the sun, but it's actually, do we have the capability of holding ourselves to that high standard that a coach holds us to actually complete the goal that we have in mind?
A boom. Fire. Courtney Cox just hits him with the ultimate reframe. Athletes wouldn't be athletes without a coach. Oh, baby. That is so fantastic, because Courtney just challenged the prospect's identity. Okay, this is a textbook move. Now, if the prospect bites, then we might be looking at scoring a dive. Let's see what happens.
Got it. Yeah, and but that same buddy says, dude, you can buy this stupid meal plan. It's like super cheap, and they send it to your house, and you just put it in that, I don't even know what you call it. Like, it's not a microwave, but it's like some other kind of heater thing.
Okay.
And it's a steam thing, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
And he's like, the meal plan is like super cheap and it's good for you and da da da. And he's like, if you stick to that meal plan, he's like, you're gonna lose that 20 pounds. But if you don't do your meal plan, and he's told me like for 2 years, and I still have it on my phone, but I never ordered it.
And you see here, the prospect doesn't really bite on that last one. He acknowledges it, but he doesn't fully delve into sinking into that feeling. But as you can see here, man, the self-sabotage is real. He's known about the right plan for 2 years on what to be doing. And again, it's not that he doesn't know what he needs to be eating. The real problem isn't food. The real problem is his inaction. Let's see how the closer handles this, because she should be doubling down on this. This is the root of the problem.
Okay. So what is it about that low number that your brain doesn't recognize as a dire, hey, we've got to use this? Like, is it because it is only $67? It's not that, pull on the wallet strings to make you say, all right, we got to actually utilize this.
Right. I don't know. I just haven't done it.
And what do you feel like you would need in order to do it?
Just buy it and have it there at the office and eat it. Like, I'm super consistent. I live by a calendar. Like every 30 minutes, I'm very scheduled, very methodical, everything that you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Like for business and everything, like I'm there. So like out of 21,000 financial advisors across the country, I'm in the top 1%, which is like I'm in the top 200.
There's a financial qualifier of a lifetime. You know what that means? We're pitching him the most expensive product possible.
And it's like, but for work, it's like das. But for the past like maybe 2 years, I just like whatever. Like I'm just like, I don't feel. I guess because I don't have kids and like.
Man got money and then he got fat.
I don't have to leave a legacy or anything. I'm just like, oh, whatever. I have enough money to get me through, if that makes sense.
No, totally makes sense. Let me ask you this though, knowing that you're in that top 1%, do you believe that how business professionals do one thing is how they do everything?
Fire.
Not everything, right?
Why, if you're a high performing salesperson, you know, doing what you're doing, how do you believe that how you do one thing is not how you should do everything? So what I'm trying to ask here is that if we're leaving things out on the table when it comes to our health and our fitness, do you think that at some point does cross over to work? I mean, no matter if we're at that 1%, no matter what, if we're lacking in one way, imagine if you weren't lacking in that way and you had that confidence that you had when you were in college, how much higher you would do when it comes to work.
Well, I know I would do better, but here's the thing. I've always been that guy, I don't know, the one that's good at everything without even trying. Okay. They used to call me the gamer in college because like at practice I was like whatever, but in the game it's like, how did he do that? So, and it's resonated for my whole life. Like school has been super easy. Everything has always been really easy for me.
Okay. And this hasn't been easy for you recently. And
this hasn't been easy. And I'm like, and I haven't tackled it head on. And I think it's because when you work out like half your life and then it's like, you stop and you say, okay, now work is my priority. And work has been my priority for the past like 22 of the past 24 years. In these 2 years, I've just kind of been like, no, whatever. Like, I'm just going to coast. And that's basically what I've done these past 2 years is just coasted, like with everything, except riding that stupid bike, which I'm like money in the bank on the bike.
Okay.
And that's why I lost the 40 pounds.
Fire body language on Courtney Cox here. You can see as he's sharing these intimate moments and details, Courtney's just hitting him with that empathetic look of, oh, I get you. I've been there before. I'm sympathetic to your situation. A lot of closers miss out on this, but you will not because you're watching this video. Thanks for subscribing.
I saw something that I thought I would probably like. It was the calisthenics where it's all body weight. And it's kind of like y'all stuff. Which is more body weight. And the crazy thing is when I do that little 18-minute workout, I'm not a sweater. I very seldom sweat. And with that stupid workout, I sweat. Like it's nuts. It's just nuts. And I bought one of those vests to make you sweat. And that's helped me sweat a little bit.
Okay.
Because my little sister, we used to work out together. Well, I say little, she's like 10 years younger than me. We used to go to this one trainer guy like 10, 12 years ago. Okay. And she was like, how do you not sweat? I would never sweat. And with this little 20-minute work or 18-minute workout deal, I kind of sweat a little bit. So
yeah. Well, that's awesome to hear. You know, you said you've been kind of doing our program for the last 60 days, but what was kind of that defining moment recently where you said like, okay, I've been doing this, but it's not giving me the results that I'm looking for because I'm doing it by myself. Like, what was that moment that made you click on it to book this appointment with me to find out what could be that next step for you?
Pluto. Prospect is in Pluto, okay? We're the astronaut. We're going to pull him back down to Earth and say, I don't give a fuck about your little sweating machine and your sister. Bring it back to now. What happened recently? Where was the urgency for why we need to change now? Fantastic question on Courtney Cox's part.
Oh, y'all sent me an email. I was like, and I was scrolling through my emails. I was like, okay, just click it and see what happens next, right?
Okay. So there obviously was something missing that made you say like, all right, let me see what this is all about, even with the email. Because if you were getting the results that you were wanting, you wouldn't have even thought, it wouldn't even have crossed your mind to find out what else.
Well, one thing is...
Double question ask, fantastic. She's asking a question, he's just saying an email, but it's not the email, right? Don't just stop there, closers. Go deeper, because that's not the answer. There's a real reason. There's something missing in his life that is stopping him from getting results. And that email just prompted him to solve this other thing. Where's the urgency? Why now?
Hold on. Today's June 6th, right? So July 20th through the 27th. This is one of the main reasons I clicked on it. So if we're being all open, July 20th through the 27th, I'm going to Colombia with two young guys. Both of them are 25 years old and they're like in really good shape. So I'm like, dude, really? I'm gonna go with these two young guys? And I'm married, but my wife's cool, like me going out of town. Well, I'm always out of town. So it's just like normal, right? It's been part of my life for years. Even when you play baseball, every weekend you're somewhere else.
Yep. I play competitive sports, so I know what you're talking about. Okay, so we have a trip coming up in July. And so that's
with two guys literally almost half my age. I'm 47. I don't know if you saw the profile.
It just gives me their age range, so I wasn't 100% sure. Okay, so 47, you're at 225. Goal is to get you down to 175. Obviously, that's a big jump well, you said 175. That's why I mentioned
No, that's cool because that's where I was in college. And I have like stupid suits that if I got down to 200 pounds, they're like $4,000 suit, like Armani's, like it's just it's a whole nother level the way I used to dress versus now. I feel like now I dress like the 50-year-old, right? But it's funny, but I do, but I have clothes that it's like, wow, that's like, it's an automatic, like if I wear some of those suits, it's like, I don't care who you are, you're getting clothes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's what your appearance is what you're going to give out when you're doing high things like that. Right. And so that's why I was asking earlier, like, do you hold that value to a $67 thing, right? If you're spending $4,000 on a suit, I'm pretty damn guaranteeing you don't value $67. Like, it's just a completely different thing here.
I mean, the closer here, Courtney Cox, she's painting a massive gap between the prospect's spending habits and his health priorities. That's how you expose financial smokescreens.
And I'm not bullshitting you, right? Like, I'm not that type of person. I want to be real honest and upfront with you and really figure out, like, do you have what you need in order to be successful? Or do you know, Robert, that what you and how you tick, you do need that more. You need to invest and you need to have that somebody that's like, yo, Robert, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? You need that coach that says, hey, did you do X, Y, and Z? Because you got this trip coming up with these two young kids in like a month. Are you going to want to walk around with them, like feeling the way that you feel right now? Yeah.
And I always have compensated like the weight issue by money issue, if that makes sense. Totally. Like I drive a Porsche, I drive a Ferrari, I have a big old stupid house, like everything you could possibly imagine, I got. So.
And does that bring you happiness though?
Sometimes.
Yeah,
money,
of course, right?
Money buys a lot of stuff. I'll tell you that.
I will 100% agree with you that people that give you the bullshit that money doesn't buy happiness, it's because they don't have money. I'm totally there with you. But I think it's the real talk of realization of like, yes, you have these things and yes, they're there and they're glorious and they're wonderful, but do they really fulfill you the way that that you can feel the best?
Right. It's like you can see in the background. Look at the.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's beautiful. Yeah. Where do you live? What state?
Texas. And everything in Texas, and look, you can see like the big old chandelier, like everything you could possibly imagine. Like I got.
Yeah.
So it's like there's the living. It's like it's stupid.
With the one exception of the physical body that you want.
Yeah, true. That's so true.
Come back down to planet Earth, buddy, because you just got smoked. Don't even know if that makes sense, but I'm going to say it anyways, because this guy is a cocky son of a bitch, and he just got brought down to planet Earth.
You can have all of those things, right? You can drive the nice fancy car and wear the nice fancy suits, but ultimately, if your physical body doesn't match all of these other external things, but even outside of just the way that it physically matches, right? What about the health concerns that come along with it?
Okay. But my dad died at 51. So that thing where, and he was like 150 pounds, he smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day. But he was a workaholic. And I used to be the workaholic because I took the sport aspect and turned it into the business aspect. Mm-hmm. And I would always look at these, in our business, it's usually the old white guy that was making the most money, right? And I'm like, dude, if that goober could do it, I'll crush this guy. That's just athletic mentality, right?
For sure.
And that's kind of how I ended up where I ended up.
Okay. So what I'm really hearing here is that you've got all these other great, amazing things, these accolades to show like how hard that you've worked. But the one thing that is missing is this one key part. and
Right.
have all of the knowledge. I'm not discrediting that, but it's actually the follow through
Correct.
outside of, what you've done the last couple of months is where you're really struggling.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason like I said, I just kind of
Perfect repetition there. Back to Mr. Bob of the problem in a situation. You notice that he says yes, he agrees, and then he adds on additional problems. So let's see what he says.
And the reason like I said, I've just kind of been on cruise control is because when I turned 45, I was like, dude, my dad died at 51. And I'm not saying I'm going to die at 51, but he died of a massive heart attack.
Well,
so I'm like,
probably didn't think he was going to die at 51 either, right?
True. And
we never know.
Yeah, my wife says, dude, you're going to live to like 80 or whatever. And I'm like, okay, fine. But what if I die at 51? I'm like, I don't want to leave all this stuff that I've accumulated to my nephews. I'm like, dude, what's up with that?
Yeah.
So I started just spending money the past 2 years. Like I bought another Ferrari, I bought another Porsche. I've just been buying stuff. And the crazy thing, it was COVID. Like this house had doubled in price. I'm like, dude, everybody says I'm just like lucky, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So I guess the bottom line comes down to is how important is this from a monetary standpoint to get this weight off of you in a healthy way so that you're not finding yourself. I mean, what, you're 47, you're 4 years away from the age that your dad was when he died.
Right.
Like how important is this for you to get this off? You can want something as much as you can want it, but it's actually.
But you got to do it. Yeah.
And that's where you're lacking right now. And I'm just brutally honest with you.
Ooh, and right here, we've got the emotional pivot point. Health isn't just a nice to have. It is a must have, or else we're going to end up like our father, or Mr. Bob's father in this case, in the grave at 51. Let's see how the prospect, Mr. Bob, handles this, and let's see if the closer, Courtney Cox, doubles down on this emotional pain point and drives it home.
Yeah.
No, it's all right.
Okay.
As your coach,
I don't want you to come on. I know you mentioned like you're like mom, right? And
that look.
I'm coming at you because I've been a coach for 20 years. I live and breathe this. I have these conversations with people all damn day long. I went to school for this. So like where you're at and your accolades, I get it, man. Like you're motivated by results because otherwise you wouldn't be successful. So we need to get you motivated to the point where you're going to get these results that you have in mind. But so having this conversation with you and kind of, talking about the different things that we've kind of talked about, do you feel that you would be more equipped to get to the result that you're looking for, having somebody that can say to you, Robert, did you do X, Y, and Z? Did you do this? Are you here yet? This is what we're going to do in order to get this so that come July, you don't feel like, the 47-year-old old man hanging out with the 20-year-old kids.
I don't feel like their dad.
Yes.
Because I'll tell them, I'm really your dad, right? Now to say that.
Then we have some nice banter back and forth from Courtney Cox and Mr. Bob about how they're super old and everyone they talk to is young enough to be their child. And Courtney Cox makes a nice transition back into the play here, asking him, hey, is it okay if I pitch you now? Let's see how she does.
We want to talk about how we're going to make this possible for you. Talk about working with somebody to make sure that we're going to get these results that you're looking for.
And is that somebody or is that somebody you hand me off, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it's not me specifically. I don't do coaching anymore. I've kind of taken.
Okay, no, that's cool.
But what I do is, I've been.
I kind of figured you didn't. I felt like the handoff already. I'm in sales, so you.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, no, well, the whole point is we have these conversations. First off, I want to make sure that you would be a good fit for the program, what it is that you're looking for, what makes you tick, what you need. Then from there, I've been taking notes while we're talking, but what we do is we pair you with one of our elite level coaches, one of our coaches who has a master's degree, a doctorate degree. They've written books. They've worked with hundreds and hundreds of clients who have very, very, very busy schedules like you do. Work with a ton of people who travel. We work with a ton of people who have crazy unknown schedules. So we're very capable of teaching you how do you accomplish this goal by one, not dieting, and by two, including what I like to call its comfort foods, things that most people deem that you shouldn't have on diets, right? Which is our favorite foods, or having cocktails. You said you entertain for work. Those are two huge things that you need to understand. How do you go and do those things without feeling like I'm restricted or I can't, entertain and still be able to hit your goal?
Sure.
And do you think that's something you can do on your own?
Yeah, what I liked about y'all's little program is, I liked it and I didn't like it. So I switched phones and it works on my old phone.
Then Mr. Bob recalls his last 60 days with the low-ticket $50 product and how it is working. He is getting stronger and it's awesome. And Courtney comes in with the nah, not so fast, buddy.
But I was able to do it over there, and which is just nuts. Like,
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning and I do it. That's the first thing I do, and then I go do the bike.
Okay. But in those 60 days, like, you haven't seen the results that you're looking for, right?
Well, physically, no, right? It's like, but I feel like I'm stronger.
Yeah.
I know I'm stronger because like some of the push-ups, like before I would have to do them on my knees. Now I could actually do the push-ups,
Awesome.
which is great. And then those stretching deals with one hand or the planks,
Yeah.
I could do those too. And I could feel like the old athlete coming back, just like, not like Rocky, but you know what I mean? Like he's just, you're like training and you're like, oh, I could do this now. Or I could feel improvement, but I never felt like I was sore or hurt or anything. That was, I guess, because it's so quick.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. If I were to do it for an hour, I'd probably be super sore. But 18 minutes.
You know, being sore from a workout doesn't equate to it being a good workout either. You know, just being sore is you're working muscles that you just don't use very often. You know, anything can make anybody sore. So being sore is not an equation of if it's working or not. I think the biggest thing to kind of ask yourself is that, yes, you're getting stronger and movements are getting easier, but you spent 60 days and not seeing, you know, the number on the scale continue to keep coming off, the inches coming off and getting you down to that goal of 200.
Right.
Right. And so we've got a 1 month away from this goal, or, you know, from your trip. But even outside of that, like, why is that goal of 175 so important to you?
I guess because at that point, like, I felt physically I was in the best shape of my life. Anytime you're in college sports, you're gonna be in the best shape of your life, even if you don't know it, because at that age, you think everything's normal, right? You can eat whatever you want and you can like lift all these weights and everything's like so easy for you because you don't get tired. Like I would never.
So it's health is why it's important for you to get to this goal of 175. So if we stay where we're at right now and we stay stagnant, yes, you're working out, and that's not, I don't think that that's the issue, right? I think truly it comes down to the nutrition aspect of it that you're kind of struggling with and understanding.
Correct.
Is that right?
Right. Yeah, because I like I said, I only opened up that thing once. I was like, okay, food plan.
Yeah.
I didn't click delete. I still have it, but
do you see yourself actually executing it though? If we've had it for this long already?
I see myself just hiring some lady to cook for me and executing it.
We've got some back and forth here from Courtney Cox and Mr. Bob on whether or not he needs coaching or not, or whether or not he can execute on this or not. As you can see, Mr. Bob here opens up and says, well, I'm going to need some help. I'll probably hire someone to cook for me. And I imagine Courtney's going to come in here and push that he needs some additional help in the training.
Oh, senor, do you want a cake? And I was like, sure. And she'd make the best cake. So it's like, dude, that was my problem.
Well, then let us help you with that. Let us help you have a program that's going to get you to this finish line so that it takes off the stress on your plate so that you can focus on going and enjoying everything that you do, you know, already. And, you know, fitting into those $4,000 suits that you mentioned are just sitting. That's a waste of money, bro. Like, yeah, that's money sitting there, like just staring at you like, hello, wear me. You know,
the crazy thing is like, I tried one on actually today, which is just nuts. And I was like, dude, if I get to 200, this thing will fit. Like it closes, but it won't stay closed, if that makes sense.
Can I share with you how we can get you to 200, if not below that, and then guarantee your results on top of it?
Share.
Okay.
And we're back, folks, after a quick commercial break and me taking a massive deuce and a costume change. Let's get back into the closing play-by-play for Courtney Cox. As you can see here, professional closer Courtney Cox does a smooth transition into the pitch, asking for permission before she goes in. She says, hey, Is it okay if I show you how we can do this? And he says, yes, yes, yes. Let's get into it.
Share.
Okay, let me share, because I'm pushing for this because I understand where you're coming from. As an ex-athlete, we have in our head this picture of what we used to be able to do. And we can want something and we can want to be there, but if we don't have the proper steps to get us there, a want is just a dream. That's all it is, right? And so we need to take that dream and turn it into actual actionable steps here. And you've said to me already, hey, I've had this for 2 weeks. I've opened it and you haven't put the action into it. And I'm just being real here. I'm just calling you out because I feel like sometimes we need to be called out sometimes.
What, I've had what for 2 weeks?
You've had this meal plan for 2 weeks and you haven't actually.
No, I've had it for 2 months.
For 2 months, even worse.
Well,
Robert, let me shake you. Like, that's even worse.
Isn't that what y'all said it, like in the beginning of the program?
What was that? Well,
Isn't
yeah,
that
we do send it at the beginning of the program.
Okay, yeah. Well, then I think I've had it.
Into it. All right, so even worse, man. Even worse here. Okay, so this is what we can do for you. All right. So in our one-on-one program, what this allows us to do is to pair you with one of our elite level coaches that's going to be there to hold you accountable. It's going to tell you exactly what to do when it comes to the nutrition plan. So if you want to hire somebody to cook for you, great. Okay. Like, we'll tell you exactly what it is that you should be eating, but we're breaking it down where you're not having to figure it out past that first initial week. That meal plan that came with what you purchased, it's 1 week. What the hell are you going to do with a 1 week nutrition plan? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same thing.
Eat the same thing every week, right?
Does that sound like something? Yeah, that doesn't feel like something you would want to do, right?
Well, I couldn't because I entertain, right? Like, I already know I could do it probably 2-3 days, and Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturday. Like, I already know
out the window.
Stop. Yeah.
Exactly. And so at this level of the program, because we're working with you one-on-one, we get to have these kinds of conversations that we say, like, okay, Robert, what do we got going on this week? What kind of events, so that we can adjust your nutrition plan so that we can make sure the workouts that you're doing are sufficient enough to help you continue to burn enough calories with what you're doing when it comes to eating. It's calories in and calories out, right? You can work out 7 days a week, but if your nutrition is not dialed in, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're literally a hamster on a wheel, just spinning and spinning. And legit, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome, right?
Without a doubt.
As you can see, she uses the perfect frame, the hamster wheel frame. No one wants to be a hamster, just running and running, putting all those extra hours and effort in with seeing no results at the end of the day. Great move by Courtney.
And so let's get you away from that. So we design it, we tell you what to do, we give you recipes, we give you grocery shopping lists. Whoever cooks, whoever's going to do it, they have everything, right? So,
right.
We're taking that step away from it. But I think the biggest thing too is to help you understand, why are you doing what you're doing so that you can maintain the weight loss. That's the key here, right? Is that getting you to this point and understanding how do you maintain it. And so that's how we design this, is because we don't believe in dieting. Diets are not sustainable. So you've got to figure out what works with your lifestyle, with your travel and everything like that, so that you can hit this goal. And that's what
like the first 3 letters in diet.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that's what we do when it comes to nutrition, is we lay it out and we tell you exactly what to do based off of the things that you're already doing, and include travel and all of that kind of stuff. Do you think that would be helpful for you, like having a good understanding of what you should be doing?
Yeah, without a doubt. Do y'all have like a meal prep program? Is that what y'all have, where y'all send the food and all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Like I told you, I'm in sales. It's like just hit me. Tell me what the bottom line is.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, right? So we have the meal plan. I want to tell you what comes with it, and then we'll talk about that bottom line. So you're going to have your nutrition plan. You're also going to have your workout routine. So we want to make sure that you understand, like, how do you marry these two things together? You have a very specific goal. You're trying to get back down into, shape that you were at, let's be honest with each other, over 20 years ago. So,
without a doubt. Yeah.
So it's like needing to understand, where is your body at? You mentioned your shoulder, all of these other things. We want to bring it all together. Help you also understand, how do you continue working out? What should you be doing when you're traveling? Because it's different when you're home. You have access to do two totally different things. But the goal here is to make it so that it fits within your lifestyle, so that you can stay consistent with it. so that you are burning fat. So you are building muscle, because that's going to get you down to that 175 is the consistency of understanding how to pair everything all back together again.
Yeah, because that's 50 pounds. Like that.
It's not just going to fall off tomorrow, you know. It didn't just come out, you know, in one day. So we want to make sure you're armed and you understand everything. But I think the other part of it is understanding, you know, it's not just about the small 90-day time frame. I think with what you have going on in your very busy lifestyle and you're traveling and stuff like that, I would give yourself longer than 90 days. You know,
without a doubt. Yeah.
You know, I personally think, like, just knowing your personality kind of, you know, off of what you're telling me, like you're a balls to the walls, like give it to me and I'm going to do it. Right. You're going to go all the way. And so having, you know, that longer period where you can really dial it in and dial it in and dial it in, which is that 6 to 12 month time frame, I think.
Right.
So you have, so if we go 6 months, 12 months, it's 6 months of nutrition, 12 months of nutrition, you know, back and forth, then you're going to have all of the accountability on top of it. You have that coach who's going to be there in your corner when you need questions. Hey man, I have a last minute travel. Like, what do I do? Hey, we have this. Hey, I want to take my wife out on a date. This is where we're going. How do I adjust things? This is where reality sets in, right? Of what you should be doing. So you have that access to ask those questions. You also have a mandatory check-in with them every Friday. It's done via email, so it doesn't take up a ton of your time. But the goal here is to make sure you're not that damn hamster on this wheel that you've been on. Get you off of it, right? So we check in every week to make sure that we're seeing inches come off, measurements change, you know, photos looking different, you know, overall continue to go up and not stay stagnant. So you have those weekly check-ins. We throw in group accountability because, let's be honest, you know, the more people you surround yourself with that have the same goal, right? That's why team sports is amazing, because you're there to encourage each other and lift each other up on those hard days. But again, it comes back to the old saying, the top 5 people you hang out with the most is the habits and mindset that you're going to form. You want to be rich. You hang out with rich people. You want to be healthy and happy and in shape. Those are the type of people you surround yourself with. So we give you that atmosphere as well. Part of it, they do a couple workouts together every week. There's some motivational posts, but once a week, there's a live Q&A. And it's really about teaching you sustainable habits. And so that's what we do. It's a different coach comes in and does that on a weekly basis. And last part of your accountability, you're going to get a one-on-one with your coach once a month, and it's to pre-plan for the next month, right? Talk about your work trips, your travel, your personal, whatever it is. So we meet with you every single month to make sure that you understand month in and month out what you should be doing. So that's the core of the program. So workouts, nutrition, and accountability. Now all the nitty-gritties of the program. So part of your program, we include your supplements the whole entire time that you're working with your coach. So if you go with a 6-month-long program, you're going to get a total of 30 of them over the 6 months. And if we go with the 12-month-long program, you're going to get 60 of them. So your coach will mix and match, you know, based off of what your goals are. So I'm thinking with what you've got going on, I would probably do some of the Test Boost Max, some of the HCG. That's really about testosterone boosting. You know, as you age, testosterone naturally drops. So that's also about muscle building, because muscle is what burns fat. So we want to make sure that's going, you know, things that you can take with you when you travel to help make sure you're hitting your protein counts, like proteins or greens, things like that, right? So we include all of those. And then the meal prep. So we work with trifecta meals. What trifecta?
Oh, that's it. That's the one that my buddy told me, the trifecta.
Perfect. Trifecta is awesome, right? In the essence of, you're going to know exactly what to eat, and you can pick it from the website so that it matches. They cook everything fresh, they flash freeze it, and they mail it to you. So what we include as part of the program is we'll include a $110 voucher every month for that 6 months, or every month for that 12 months. And then from there, you can mix and match however you need to. And you can order, you know, all of your meals if you really, truly want to. And everything gets cooked fresh, and they flash freeze it and they mail it to you. So you can take it with you on your trips if you're doing local trips. International is the only thing that you can't take food with you on the airplane, but
that's cool.
You can take those things with you. But ultimately, it's about giving you step-by-step directions to get you where you're going, which is that 175 pounds in way shorter of amount of time than you're trying to do it on your own. So how does that sound? Does it sound more of what you're needing in order to be successful at the school?
Are you going to shake your head right now? Is that what they trained you to do? It's like, yes.
No, nobody trained me to do anything. I'm one of the most laid back salespeople, and I hate calling it that, because this is my passion, man. This is what I went to school for. I owned a gym for 9 years. Like, COVID happened, and this is where I ended up was working with Vince so I could help people like you understand what you can be doing and what your potential is.
Oh, cool.
Courtney Cox here perfectly diffuses the situation. I mean, Mr. Bob basically calls her out on like, hey, you're doing salesperson tactics on me, aren't you? And Courtney Cox says, look, man, no one taught me to do anything. This is my passion. This is where I belong. Diffusing the situation. Once diffused, look how she perfectly transitions into the price drop. Again, asking for permission before she does so.
So that's my background and stuff.
Yeah, that trifecta, when you said, I was like, dude, that was it. He sent me this thing for like 2 years.
Yeah, trifecta's great.
He's 50 and he still has abs. So
hey, if you can take something off of your plate to not be stressful, and if cooking's one of those things, why not do it? You know, it's a
steamer. Is that what you put it in, the steamer?
So they're like, they come in like packages, and you just pop them in the microwave, and they naturally like will steam themselves to heat back up because they're already cooked. They're pre-cooked. Okay. They're flash frozen.
Yeah, he says he doesn't use it. He uses a steamer, and it tastes like 10 times better. Or whatever.
Yeah, you can do that as well too. You can open them up, cook them on the stovetop and stuff as well.
Okay.
So let's talk about an upgrade here. Sound good?
Okay, what's up?
All right, perfect. So our 12-month. So you would have 12 months of working with one of our elite level coaches where everything is done for you, from nutrition to your workouts to your accountability. You're also going to have your 60 supplements. You're also going to have your $1,200 vouchers that we give you every single month as well. So that program right now, normally it's a $30,000 program from start to finish, but Vince actually has it on sale for our holiday that we just had last week. So we extended out our holiday. So that one right now, I can get you a little over half off for $17,500. We drop down to our 6-month program. It's the exact same thing as the 12-month. It's just for 6 months of the duration of everything we've kind of talked about. That program normally is a $20,000 program. That one's half off for $10,000. One thing I forgot to mention outside of everything we've talked about, once you're done working with your trainer one-on-one, we roll you over into our university for 9 months. And this is really your opportunity to implement everything that you were taught. And in the university, we still give you workouts, recipes, nutrition, you have group accountability, and now it's just plug and play. You have your template that we created for you. You get to look at it and go, sweet, it's a high carb day. That's a high carb meal. Let me flip flop it out. You know, I know what to do for that workout. Let me flip flop it out. So we're literally setting you up to be able to do this by yourself at the end of your program.
Got it.
So how's that sound for you? Which one are we getting upgraded with today?
So just tell me about the supplements. Like, I don't.
As you can see, Mr. Bob here gives her kind of the, I'm not ready to upgrade into either of those right now. And he gets into some logistical questions about the program and around like supplements.
The stuff that you're talking about, I think I bought some of that, but I've never used it.
Okay, so if you know that about yourself, then let's not do supplements. Let's exchange it for another month of coaching. So it would actually end up being 7 months worth of coaching if you didn't want to use your supplements.
Got it.
So we can always do it that.
But I think the supplements add value, right? If you say,
I think it's a better value doing the supplements 100% than exchanging for another month.
If you said, hey, you got to take this supplement in the morning, this one in the afternoon. Like, I'm super structured, right?
Yeah.
I guess and if you say, this is your day.
Yep.
Go do it and just put it in between your appointments. Like,
exactly.
When you prep for your appointment, prep for 20 minutes, do this for 10. Prep for 20, do this for 10. Prep for 20, do this for 10, and it'll be pretty simple. And so here's the true question.
There you go. And as you can see, Courtney Cox handles that question. It's not necessarily an objection, but it is a problem because he thinks he doesn't want to do supplements, and she reinstates the value of those supplements. Say, hey, if you don't want to do it, you can get an extra month of coaching, right? But I would recommend you do that. And they go back and forth. They get on the same page. Boom, handle, done. Let's get on to the next objection here.
Here's the true question. When people say no to your deal, usually y'all come back and say, oh, but we can do it for X, or y'all don't have that.
Nope. I'm there. Okay. There's no bait and switch. There's no gimmick. There's no nothing. The price is the price. And I guess my question comes down to is why. You know what I'm saying? When someone's like, oh, I'm not going to do it. Because I think for you, this isn't a money question. This is more
No,
of
it's not.
why is this so important to you right now?
Well, because I'm going with these two young fuckers. That's why.
That, but
Realistically.
Woo! And as you can see, Courtney Cox isolates the real objection here. It's not a money thing, and he knows that. The real objection, as you can see what she said here, was like, why is this so important right now? Which is honestly the reason most people buy in these situations. And so now they're talking about the real thing. It's not about the price. Let's get into the problem.
But realistically, even deeper than that, though, Robert, this is more about than that. Your dad died.
My dad died at 51. Yeah, really. That's by both of those, it makes a huge difference. So, like, even if I were to get down to like 215 or 210 before this trip, I would be like ecstatic.
Yeah,
because I know, like, I have like some shirts, like they fit, but like when I sit down, the button opens a little bit, and I'm like, dude. Why?
And when you're wearing fly ass clothes, you want it to fit the correct way.
Right. Yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah. I think I could do the 6 month to see if I like it, because I don't want to do the 12 and realistically do 2 and just quit.
Okay.
Not that I will, because I never quit anything. That's just how I am.
Okay, so as you can see here, the prospect is bought in. He's saying, let's do the 6 months. So what does Courtney do? Does she say, okay, cool, let's sign you up and walk him through the process? No, she does a masterful tactic and reinstates the value of doing the 12 months. She pushes for the 12 before getting the 6. Fantastic work here. Let's check out how the conversation goes.
But let's look at it this way. You're saving a ton. You're saving a few $1,000s by signing up for the 12 months, because if we do 10 months, that's 20 grand. Right now, the 12 month is on sale for 17 and a half.
No, you said the 6 month was 10.
Yes. So the 10 is on sale for.
Oh, I see what you're saying. 10 and 10, right?
Oh, exactly. 20. But normally the 6 month is 20 grand. So it's half off right now.
And people pay that?
You got to think about the level of the coach you're working with. These aren't just, your Joe Schmo who has like a personal training certificate. These are people who have master's degrees and doctorate degrees. People have gone to school for a very, very long time. So you're paying for that expert level of coaching.
You have to pay the whole 20 grand up front?
You can do payment plans if you would like. We do a firm, which is our payment system where we can split payments out over 6 to 12.
But then you pay like 20% or whatever.
So we have worked out a deal with a firm, and depending on what your credit score is, we have worked out a deal where some of our clients do get 0% interest on the 2 shorter payment plans. So it just is really depending on each individual person.
Because I always feel like if I pay for something that month, I'll utilize it versus
monthly versus getting it out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, because can I pay the 20,000 right now? No problem. It's irrelevant. But then I'm gonna be like, oh, I paid for it, and then off to the next thing, and I won't utilize. That's just
so it's the way I am. Seeing it coming out. Oh, I get it, man. I think most of us are kind of like that too. If you're spending the money, see it monthly, because then you're like, oh yeah, you have that visual reminder that you're spending that money.
Yeah, I gotta pay homeboy to get on my Zoom call with me, right? To say, hey, are you doing this? Are you doing that?
So do you want to see if you could get the 17 grand program with no interest? And then if there's no interest, what's holding you back?
Sure. That's cool.
Let's do it. So I'm going to have you share your screen with me and I'll walk you through that process.
Voila. And Courtney Cox pretty much walks him through the soft application, and that application approves him on the spot and takes him to 3 options to pay for the probate, which we're going to see right now.
So $648 every month for 36 months. That's with interest. $1,578 every month for 12 months. It really is 0 interest, but why does it say total payments $18,000?
Tax.
Oh, okay. So it would have been the $1,843 even without the. I'll just do the 12 months because then I get to see the $1,578 come out, and I feel like, hey, you know what?
Yep.
I'm paying for this. I got to utilize this. And that's exactly what I was looking for.
Perfect. Go ahead and select it, man.
So we're doing the 12-month deal then?
Yes, we are.
Oh, shit. You got me for a whole 12. Well, you don't, but somebody does. I feel sorry for them.
No. You know what? I'm going to make sure that they partner you with somebody that's going to get you on it, and you guys are going to have fun together. That's for sure.
Okay.
So first payment's not due until next month. Go ahead and turn off the auto pay here, Robert. It tends to freeze when we enter it here, but a firm will send you a message and you can set that up at another time. Go ahead.
So just click confirm.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. All right, back. Okay, I guess I'm in this San Antonio.
So I grabbed that order number. I'm going to bring you back to me and stop sharing your screen. Here's what's going to happen now.
And there we go. Let's go. Close secured. Okay, awesome, guys. As you can see here, Courtney Cox has secured the deal, and I want to share with you key takeaways from this call. Masterful closing techniques that you should bring with you on your next closing call. Number one was the coaching reframe that she utilized here. She did a great job at overcoming I know what to do objections before they even showed up. Okay, this happens all the time. When a prospect comes on cocky as hell, thinking that, hey, I don't need a coach, I'm a top 1% earner, I'm an ex-college athlete, I know what to do. Right? And she used a great reframe showing that every star athlete has a fantastic coach behind them. That eliminated so many objections that never came up later on because she handled it in the discovery. Okay, that's thing number one. Thing number two is the identity challenge. Okay, so she tied the deal to the prospect's athlete mindset, knowing that if you're going to be a top performer in your work, you should be a top performer in your health. Because how do you do one thing is how you do everything. And that really aligned him to this goal of just, this is the one area of his life that he is sucking and he wants to be a top performer. That was fantastic to secure the close. And then lastly was the pricing and payment strategy. I think she did a ton of great work at building value before the price was even dropped. And then she used the 0% interest rate to remove resistance at the close here. That was a fantastic tool that she could use. Guys, this is a fantastic close. If you want tons of other closing calls unedited, just like this one, as well as a community of closers who are practicing on a daily basis, then click the first link in the bio to apply to our community, Clash of Closers, where you will get a special rate because you will talk with one of the guys on our team. Just tell them you come from this YouTube video. Appreciate you guys all for tuning in on this video, and I will catch you in the next one.
We're here in Switzerland.